Hello, and welcome to Young Global Leaders, where we get the chance to hear from young people hailing from all around the world, sharing about themselves, their accomplishments, and their vision for a better world. Recently, I had the privilege of leading a group of about 100 young people from over 40 countries to 7 global regions on an 8-month global gap year program. Most of them had just graduated from high school, though we also had a few older students. During our 8+ months together, the students formed a deeply loving and supportive community. Anyone could see that they had built something unique and inspiring. Through my eyes as a teacher, coach, and global leadership consultant, what I saw was unlike anything I'd seen before. When the program ended, I desperately wanted to keep in touch with these students and to share their example with the world. So I started the Young Global Leaders podcast. Today we hear from Malena Sturm. Malena Sturm, welcome.
Hello. Really nice that you're having me.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. And especially, I guess right now I'm looking at the clock. It's 11:10 a.m. here on the west coast of the United States. But what is it, 8:10 p.m.?
Yeah, it's 8:10 p.m. in Munich.
In Munich, where you are right now. Well, actually, that actually answers the first question, which is where are you joining us from today? Which is near the city of Munich in Germany, correct?
Yes, exactly. I'm living at my parents' home right now because I'm studying in Munich and I started to study psychology in October. And it's just really nice to have my parents still around and to connect like every day. So yeah, really enjoying to call or to receive.
That's really nice. Yeah, I mean, it's college is such a big transition. It's such a big step in one's life. I'm really glad that you have the stability of living at home and being with your parents to help go through that transition.
Yeah, it helps a lot. It just feels really good to have someone at home to talk to. So right now I couldn't really imagine to live on my own. So it's just relaxing and you have someone around to talk to or you have someone around to just like be with another person.
Mm-hmm. And especially your parents, right? Because they know you and love you and care so deeply about you.
Yeah, exactly. That's another plus point. Yeah, it's just... Yeah, I mean, they know me best, so yeah, I can talk with them about anything, and that's really amazing, and I'm really grateful for that because they've like accompanied me my whole life, and it will go on from now on. So yeah, I'm really grateful for that, and I hope I can also be a good companion for them. So
good. I mean, I've recently had less recently now, but I had a realization when my first daughter went off to college in 2020. Which was interesting. It was in the middle of the pandemic, but her campus continued to be in person. But I recognized, okay, she's left home, but our parenting journey has just begun. It's for the rest of our lives and for the rest of her life. Yeah. As long as we're all still around, we will be parenting our daughter, and it's incredible. It's from the parent side. It's just an incredible privilege to be a parent and to help bring our children into adulthood.
Yeah. I mean, like for me, it also feels like a great privilege to just have this person or my parents around and lean on them if I need someone. So I think it's good coming from both sides. So
yeah. Well, I'm glad that you have that. What can you share with us about how college is going for you so far?
So far, I really love it. So I was hesitant at first when it came to psychology because after Beret, I had like a broader idea of what I wanted to do, and psychology was one of my ideas, but I did not actually think that I would love it that much. Because we are talking like about things which are really interesting for me. So for example, we have cognitive psychology and we're talking about perception, how we perceive the world, also on a kind of biological level, and how this leads up to why everyone is like perceiving the world differently. And then we are also talking about what emotions are and motivation and how people are getting motivated. And this is just so interesting for me. And also touching like subjects like magic. So why does magic actually work? And it's so interesting because it has all to do with like our attention and where we're putting our attention onto. So it's just magical.
That's great. It's magical learning about magic. Yeah, oh, such fascinating stuff. I mean, I love psychology as a topic. I love cognitive psychology specifically because there's this great illusion that we somehow perceive the world in some remotely objective way, and it's completely
Yeah.
false. Completely false. Our attention is being manipulated every single second, a split second, really. So anyway, yeah, we could probably spend a lot of time talking about that.
Yeah. It's just,
We'll probably come back to it later in the conversation when I start asking you questions about communicating and collaborating across cultures, because all of that is deeply, deeply psychological. For now, I want to get into a question that's specifically about you. And the question is, Malena, what can you tell us about what makes you you?
so I feel like it's a really difficult question because honestly, I think I kind of change all the time.
Hmm.
So maybe other people experience it as well. So if another person kind of comes into my life and they are like talking to me, or like I get inspired by the person and it happens like kind of all the time, I will probably change according to that. But I think like there are kind of some fundaments which I could
Hmm.
talk about. So for example, I do believe that I'm a kind of a really curious person, so that I'm really interested in other people and also kind of about the world. And this was, I think, also kind of shaped by my traveling experience because I had the chance to actually follow this interest and to ask more questions about. And this is also kind of how knowledge builds up.
Hmm.
So the first steps are always kind of difficult, and you're building like the first threads in your brain, and then you start learning more about it and being more curious, and you're like more curious about every little aspect, and so it's like getting easier and easier for you to learn about a subject. And this is also a really interesting topic for me. And I think honestly, I also behave like differently about other people. So if I know a person really well, I'm like really energetic and like I think also really open-minded. But maybe at the beginning, if I get to know people first, I might be a little bit reserved. But
Hmm.
I'm kind of also working on that. So yeah, let's see how it goes. But it's not always easy. Yeah.
Can you say a little bit more about working on that? Is this an aspect of yourself that you're trying to change?
Yeah, I think so. I think just having the trust in myself that I will get accepted the way that I am, and that
Hmm.
I can show myself how I am from the beginning onwards, and
Hmm.
that you don't have to like test the situation first and like
Hmm.
feel how the situation is before I'm going to step into that kind of situation. So I kind of, yeah, want to tackle it a little bit.
Is any of this desire on your part to change in this way a result of any experiences that you had while you were with Beret Scholars?
I think Barre has already changed it a little bit.
Hmm.
So I think before I came to Beret, I kind of grew up in a bubble. So I knew the people around me from a really young age, most of them since I was 6 years old. And we went like to primary school together, and then we went to high school together. So it was like kind of, it felt kind of fixed. So the relationships were kind of, yeah, they changed over time a little bit. But also, I went out of high school with really good relationships, but there was not a lot of change in between. So I feel that also kind of, yeah, had to do with my openness, or kind of, yeah, involved my openness because I felt it was fixed. I was not that open anymore to other people,
Mhm.
and I think that really changed over Beret because it kind of showed me that I can be open and that I can talk to people and that I will also get accepted the way that I am. So it already changed over Beret.
Yeah, and I'm thinking back on the living conditions. You almost didn't have a choice, right? Because you've had about 100 peers from all over the world. You're sharing a hotel room with them. You're having all of these really intense experiences with them. I
Yeah.
mean, you don't really you have to engage on some level and in some way, right?
Yeah, and honestly, I'm really proud that I went into the situation without thinking a lot about it
Hmm.
because yeah, it took me courage in the beginning. Also like to start conversation, and in the beginning of Beret we just had so many conversations and we talked
Hmm.
like to everyone, and it was so amazing and everyone was so nice. And I feel like it changed me. Yeah.
So that looking back then on how you became a part of the Beret Scholars Program, was there a point where did you consider not going because of concerns about these kinds of concerns about not wanting to be open or being reserved or anything like that? Did you ever consider not going and
No.
then okay, you were a yes from the start?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I kind of read about the program and I was like, this sounds so amazing. And I always wanted to travel. And my ideas at first were like that I would go to New Zealand and do backpacking. But
Hmm.
then I was like, okay, maybe it will be difficult because there's also a lot of change. You're staying at a lot of different hostels. And I thought, okay, I wanted an environment which is kind of more steady so that I actually have the chance to build up deep friendships. And with Beret, this was kind of given and an amazing chance to do so. So I was like, yeah, why not? I'll go.
So before learning about Beret, you had already decided you wanted to take a gap year.
Yeah.
Why did you want to do a gap year?
I wanted to because okay, at the end of high school, it was like I did not really know what I wanted to do with my life back then. So for me, I wanted to be like good at school and concentrate on that and not concentrate on what I would like to do after school. So for me, it was kind of clear that I wanted kind of a break because if you go from school right to college, it's like also really fixed and steady, and you like it's a fixed pathway kind of. And maybe there are other possibilities or chances or opportunities what you could do with your life, and I just really wanted to get to know them, and I really wanted to kind of live through adventures.
Hmm.
So yeah, I wanted to travel from the beginning on.
And ultimately, so you had thought about New Zealand, you learned about Beret and ended up choosing Beret. Were there other gap year options that you were considering at the time?
Not really. Like I was thinking a little bit about tilting futures, but
Mm-hmm.
Beret really stood out to me because like traveling with 100 peers all around the world just sounded amazing to me. And like looking backward at the program and at everything that happened, it also was amazing. So it definitely met my expectations about like what I wanted to do in this year and what I wanted to experience. And it also took away kind of the fear of traveling. Like I think also the kind of fear of traveling alone and being like on my own
Mm-hmm.
has rapidly decreased because of that, because I just had the chance to go kind of out into the world while still relying on other people. And of course, building up deep friendships because it was just so amazing living together and you would just talk to the people and like share everything, which like, yeah, it kind of, if you're sad, you would share your feelings and it was just so personal all the time.
I love it. I want to shift the conversation a little bit now to learning and actually unlearning. And what I mean by that is, so I'm an educator. My whole career, I've been involved in education one way or another, and learning is a near and dear topic to me and to my heart. And in this kind of a program, we're always talking about learning and what's our approach to learning and how are we going to maximize learning for our students. What I'm wondering is, could you share with our listeners anything that you might have unlearned during your travels?
I think, honestly, I think that I've unlearned is comparing myself. Like, of course, I'm still comparing myself to others. I kind of feel like it's kind of maybe natural, but I don't know about that, honestly. But it was just at some point in Beret, it just did not make any sense to compare yourself because all the people had so many different backgrounds and they have achieved so many amazing things. So it just felt like it wouldn't make any sense anymore. And I hope I can also carry this through at college and to have like my individual goals and follow my goals and grow my mindset, but like getting a little bit away from like competing with others and having this comparison all the time because it feels like it's like healthier for myself and also healthier for others. So, yeah.
That's a beautiful and really valuable insight to have earlier in your life, and in a place to focus your energy and attention on. And I'm speaking from personal experience and also from everybody that I know. It's such a trap and always really tempting to look around us and make comparisons.
Yeah.
And go ahead, please.
Like it can be really motivating. So it might make you better and better and better. But in the end, the question I would see for myself is, why do I want to be better and better and better? And like, what is there in the end, what I want to reach? So, yeah.
I think you're pointing out a really important distinction, which is, or maybe distinction isn't the right word. There's different orientations that one can have towards comparison.
Yeah.
And I think there are many times when it can be helpful to us to compare ourselves in the sense like, oh, this person is showing me something that I can benefit from. And that, that's very sort of expansive and open-ended and, centered around abundance. And I think what mostly happens, I don't know about mostly, but this easy trap to fall into is it's scarcity based. Like, oh, I can never match up. And I think it's helpful to check in with ourselves about, how are we feeling? Are we excited by something? Is the comparison drawing us towards something that we feel excited and passionate about? In which case, great. Or is it something that's making me feel, to shrivel up and shrink and lament that I don't measure up somehow? And that, I think that is toxic and detrimental, or can be toxic and detrimental. And so I'm happy to hear that this is something that you've noticed and that you're working on. And I'll also say, again, just based on my own personal experience and people that I've known for a long time, the temptation to compare has never gone away. It's a trap that's always waiting there for us. And so again, the more that we can prepare ourselves and be ready to identify when that's happening, the better position we're going to be in. So I appreciate you sharing about that.
I think that you put it really well. So I think that's exactly what I meant. So maybe if I would like to talk like about an experience I had during the weekend.
Great.
Because I'm doing Taekwondo. I don't know if you know about that, but like we had black belt exams on Saturday. My friend and me did decide to not do it because we didn't feel ready for it. But we went there to like support other kind of members of the club who were doing it on the day, and honestly, we were so excited. Like, all the time, my heart would beat so fast, even though I was just watching. And I was like, oh my God, I also want to do it. I also want to do it. And I was just so amazed by what they were doing. And it was so cool. And I was like, okay. Yeah. And now I'm so motivated, because before that I was like, okay, no, it's kind of stressing me. Why should I do it? So maybe wait a little more. And now I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this now. So
Great.
I think it can be really inspiring, and you can be so inspired by other people. And I'm so grateful when people are inspiring me, because they are showing me completely new opportunities I would have never seen from my perspective. So it's like just amazing.
I love that story. It's a great example. And I'm amazed and inspired that you're so close to achieving that level of accomplishment in Taekwondo, black belt.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing this?
I think I've started in 8th grade. Yeah. With a friend of mine together. And we've done it since the 8th grade together. So we went there together, and it was always so much fun, because we were just like, we were called like siblings, or I don't know the term in English. In German, it's called siamesische Zwillinge.
My German is old and rusty.
That's okay.
And so
No,
I'm going through did I ever encounter that term in a vocabulary list in any of my German classes? And I don't think I have.
maybe not. But that's okay. That's okay. But basically, we were like going hyungs synchronously. So at the same time, the same movements. And everyone thought we were siblings because we kind of, I don't know why. We were so similar and we would do the movements so similar. I don't know. But it was just so much fun. And now we are starting it again. So since I'm back, we have done Taekwondo again and everything. And then we've decided to like do our black belt exam, and then we've decided to not do it. So now we're going to do it in spring. Yeah,
Spring is
and
your next
I'm so
opportunity.
excited about it now.
Good, good. Yeah, and following on, it was a beautiful story to tell in the context of when comparison can be something that's beneficial.
Yeah,
Right. Good. And that actually had me thinking as well, just about the whole notion of, and you mentioned the word competition as well, or competitive a little bit ago, celebrating the successes of others, as opposed to
yeah,
seeing, when someone else succeeds, that somehow implies that I have failed somehow, I think is also a default way, a common way that we can consciously or unconsciously perceive the deeds of others. And what you're pointing to, I think, is that abundance grounded way of viewing the accomplishments of others, which is, hey, I can be inspired by this. I can celebrate. By celebrating somebody else's accomplishment, I'm not diminishing myself in any way. It can actually enhance.
yeah,
It can be a self-enhancing act as well. And I think that your story that you shared points towards that.
yeah. It was just so much fun watching. Like, I would have never thought, and it took 3 hours. Like the exam took 3 hours, and we didn't took out our phones once. So we just watched.
Mm.
Yeah, it was kind of magical for me, honestly.
Sounds amazing. The next question that I have for you is something that I guess you've already touched on it a little bit in the context of comparison. And I'm going to ask it anyway, because maybe there's something else, because I'm actually sure that there's a lot of ways that you've grown throughout the year. And that's really what the question is. So for context, we finished the program around May 20th, 2025. It is now December 3rd, 2025. So it's been over 6 months since the program concluded. And as you have been reflecting on the year, the beret year from 2024 to 2025, what would you say are some of the main ways in which you've grown?
Okay. So I think also I've grown in like what I've mentioned before with the comparison, first of all. Then also when it comes to friendships and probably also communication, because it was just so different from any friendship I had before. Because we would be like also kind of really different people. We had different backgrounds. So it kind of maybe in some sense took a little bit of time to like really grow a deep friendship. But it was just amazing when you actually knew you could rely on a person 100%. So that kind of feeling also made me think about kind of myself and maybe if people can rely on me 100%. So that's also kind of an interesting question. And yeah, I think also my curiosity has grown, like getting to know other people and also my openness. So going up to people and especially asking questions. So back in school, I was kind of scared, maybe also scared to ask like the wrong question or like a question which was not interesting for other people, but like interesting for me, or maybe to raise my hand and yeah, don't give the right answer or something like that. And that has completely changed. So I'm now really able to ask questions and also to do it like in a context of university where like 100 students are sitting around me. So I'm really enjoying it actually. And yeah, for me, I can let go more easily. So for example, if a topic really bothers me or something like that, and I'm thinking about it a lot, and then I'm thinking about the impact it could have on my life or the life of the people around me. And maybe it's not as big as I expected it from the situation. So I kind of can let go more easily. And this just feels amazing. Like this calmness and kind of inner peace. I think and I'm finding more ways to actually get to know myself. So through Beret, I also got myself better, also because of Étoile. So I will just briefly explain what
Good. Yes, because I wanted to ask you about this, and but please tell our listeners about Étoile.
Yeah, so Étoile is basically a newspaper, or the Beret Scholar newspaper, which I founded with a couple of friends, and all of these friends are really amazing people, and they have contributed so much to it, and it was just lovely to see coming it together, and and I feel like this all has just helped me to find myself better and to get myself, to know myself better, because it has shown me the ways I kind of also work best. So, for example, in what context do I actually stick to my goals? Because I'm a person who's really fast motivated to do things. So if someone wants to kind of persuade me to do something and they get me excited about it, I'll be excited. And I'll have like a peak excitement, and then it will slowly and faster decrease. So Étoile has shown me when I can reach my goals. And it has a lot to do with the people around me. So, for example, if other people are relying on me, I see, okay, I have to do it, and I still want to do it, even if I'm not that motivated anymore, but I'll still keep up with it. And then I'll be so happy in the end when I see what we've achieved together. So I think it's small steps of getting to know myself better. But with all the traveling experience, it has definitely started.
I want to personally express my gratitude to you for Étoile, because it is such a beautiful, literally beautiful to look at. The physical bound copies of Étoile are absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, I was so happy that it happened in the end, because we organized it back in China, and we had the fellowship kind of to organize it. And so it was just amazing to actually see it happen and to experience it with all the people who have worked on it and standing on stage together and showing it to everyone. It felt really amazing.
It was an incredible accomplishment, and it's a gift for, I don't want to say eternity, because, there will come a time when the planet ceases to exist, right? But, for the rest of, for as long as humans are around to appreciate it, you've left a legacy through Étoile as well. The documentation of this, a really special form of documentation the first year of Beret Scholars.
Yes. First of all, that, and I really hope that it showed kind of the community we built up through Beret. So I kind of hope that it's kind of a symbol for friendship. So it at least is for me.
I think you definitely succeeded. I think it captures many aspects of the essence of the Beret community, which first and foremost, in my mind anyway, is just loving and supportive, but also fun, open, curious. I got to have the experience of you interviewing me in Beijing for a story, and that was really fun.
Also, I've come to a whole new kind of way to think about success through the interview. So thank you so much because of that.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Can you articulate what that is?
So do you remember us talking about success and how it was viewed in China?
Yes.
So you can probably explain it better than I can.
I want to hear your understanding. I'm gonna put you on the spot a little bit, because it's one thing for me to express it, and then you interpret it and make meaning out of it for yourself in unique ways. And I would love to hear what those are, if you don't mind.
Yeah, of course. So how I interpreted it was that all around the world we view success really differently. And probably for each of us, success is something different. And back then we talked about cultural difference, especially between like the Western world and how the Western world would view success. So maybe a definition of success could be, okay, the person earned $1 million and they can build up every life they want to build, and they build it up from scratch. So they founded their own company or something like that. So all this kind of achievements, which we would show to the outside world. So it wasn't like a private achievement, but it had to be kind of shown to everyone. And so back then we talked like about another definition of success as well, which could be like maybe put as the heroes of the daily life. I don't know. So like small kind of heroes which would kind of support each other in small ways and have maybe a smaller impact, but still have a big impact for one person. And I feel like this is also really important to think about that your impact in the beginning does not have to be that big, because it always starts like small. And if you kind of think about goals which are like really high and far away, it will be really difficult to reach them. So one good thing to do a day would be maybe already a really good impact you would have. And I think in, for example, how I understood it, at least, maybe in Chinese culture, that's kind of a better way to put success. So please correct me if it's not a good description of it. But
if you're okay, I mean, I'm actually not interested in how correct your interpretation may or may not be. If that's okay, I mean, I'm most interested in the meaning that you made out of our conversation, and it sounds like everything that you said makes complete sense to me.
yeah,
And I appreciate that our conversation helped lead you towards some new reflections about how success might look. And you're also getting me thinking. And so this is how human discovery works, right? It's when we're in conversation with one another and bouncing ideas around like we're doing right now. Have me thinking, about certain aspects of impact. How do we measure the impact that we have during the brief time that we're alive on this planet?
yeah,
And I think that and this also loops back to psychology as well, and perception and attention as well. What do we pay attention to? And we can't always, we can, I would say it's much more rare than it is common that we even can see the impact that we have. We have no way of knowing what the impact is that we have on the world. And a great example that I've come back to at various times to kind of reassure myself, you look at the state of the world and it's pretty bad in a lot of ways. And it can be very easy to become cynical and throw up our hands and say, oh, well, why bother? Well, in thinking in the context of our incredible community of Beret scholars, how much worse would it be, or could it be? How much better or more peaceful, or just, how much better will the world be in the future because of this community?
yeah,
Right. We can't know that. We can always find evidence that we're that we're completely screwed, right? Yeah. That the world is unredeemable.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting you.
No, not at all. It's a conversation.
I think it's really like so beautiful about the world, and I kind of see it every day, is that people are still trying to change. So that most people haven't accepted the world, what it is right now. And this is kind of an ongoing process, like it happened 100 years ago and it's happening like now again. People still want to change the world. They haven't accepted it as like being stable, or the culture is also in a process and changing all the time. And I feel like this is so beautiful about it, because there's a chance to improve it, and people are seeing this chance and try to take it despite not knowing what could come around or what impact it could have. They're still doing it because they believe in themselves and they believe that they could have an impact.
I love that so much, Malena, I mean, I'm thinking you actually kind of already answered the last question I was going to ask you. And maybe you have more to say about it as well. But that question, just so our listeners hear, the question that I was planning to ask you was, that we live in a world that's full of suffering. And a lot of that suffering is caused by humans. Yeah. And it can be easy to feel overwhelmed and lose hope. And have you got any words to encourage us about the future? And you just did. You just gave us some really beautiful words to encourage us about the future. Which ties back, why I wanted to start this podcast in the first place, was to hear from young folks like you who had this really kind of unprecedented kind of experience traveling the world with folks from all over the world and making friendships happen, making relationships happen, and also creating artifacts for the world like Étoile. Oh, can you share with our listeners why it was called Étoile?
It was called Étoile because a beret is called after Jeanne Beret. So I hope I pronounced it correctly. But she was like the first woman who would sail around the world. And her ship was actually called Étoile. And therefore we called our magazine Étoile. And it was just an amazing idea. And back then, one of the staff members from Beret actually gave us the idea. So it was back in London when I was talking to Fahad in a nice little cozy coffee shop. And we would have like coffee together and talk the project a little bit through. And we talked like about different names. And he was like, okay, the Caravan. No, we already got a magazine which is called like that. Why don't you try this name? So it was... Yeah.
And Étoile, I believe, is French for star?
Yes, it is. It is. So it's also a beautiful name, like also illuminating kind of in a way. So
Great. I've got another question for you. The word culture has come up a couple of times in our conversation. And producing something like Étoile, I'm just going to use that as an example. It may not be the best example. And if you have another example that you'd prefer to share, please let me know. But I'm thinking about working effectively with people who come from different cultures. And wow, 40 plus countries amongst the 100 or so students, a lot of cultural diversity. And yet you managed to produce issue after issue of Étoile. Were there times when you found the cross-cultural communication collaboration to be challenging?
Yes, I do think so. But I don't really have a feeling how it's in other teams. So I don't know if it was especially because of the culture differences or if it was just because of communication. Because I feel like a lot could be solved while communicating. So just listening to each other and sharing your thoughts about it, and also especially being honest about it. Like honest about how you felt in the moment, maybe when something happened or did not happen. So I just feel like this communication was really important. And also, for me, I would say I communicate rather directly. But during Beret, I also understood that not everyone is actually communicating in that way. So it's even more important to actually listen and to also maybe be aware of that your perspective and the kind of words that you would use wouldn't be used by other people in the same context or in the same situation. So this was just really interesting for me to understand.
Do you have any examples or any stories related to that?
About communication?
Communication could be communication. It could also just be about a time when you were challenged by a difference and had to do some kind of work to get through it.
I think that's more a story about communication, like it was in the beginning of Étoile. And I was trying to organize a meeting, but it wouldn't directly talk to the people. And so the meeting in the end did not actually come across. So the people wouldn't come to the meeting because they had different plans on the day. And on the next day, we talked again, and we talked about the structure again. So there were a lot of changes in the structure, and it was an ongoing learning process. Because for me, it was also completely new, and it was like a completely new experience to communicate in that way. And I understood what are like interesting facts you should actually put into your messages, so people actually see that it's like urgent or not. So yeah, but it actually, like, in the end, it worked so brilliantly, and it just had to learn about it and learn about yeah, how I get my messages across. Um, and then it worked out, and it was just amazing because I could rely on like everyone who was like helping me with the project, and it was, yeah, so nice. And I'm especially thankful for Juliana. I would want to mention her name because she was kind of the person, my editor. We were both editors in chief, so we also, yeah, kind of coordinated it together. And it was so amazing to have her at my side, because at the beginning it was like really difficult for me to actually start it because I had no experience. So I've never done something like that before, and it was overwhelming me, and I did not really know how much work I had to put into the project. So in the beginning, I was like, okay, it will all work out. It will be fine. I'll get it over. And then it did not. And I was kind of really devastated in between. But like, there were still people around, and they helped me to get up again, and they helped me to actually get it done. Nonetheless, how much it actually, like, nonetheless, how much work we had to put into it. So yeah, in the beginning, we worked 2 nights through, and it was amazing in the end. So
A couple of things are coming to mind as you share that reflection. One is, and I wish I could remember this quote. We just hosted a gathering at our home for American Thanksgiving last week, and part of our practice is for everybody to share something that they're feeling grateful for. And one of our friends shared something, and I can't remember the quote, and it's such a brilliant quote. I'm not even going to try to say what it was. What it did is it connected resilience with community, and it's something like, the sum total of our resilience is the people around us, or something like that. And I'm hearing that I hear you say that you were devastated, but there were still other people, and they picked you up.
yeah, yeah,
That's just
amazing.
beautiful.
And I think that's also a thing I might have learned about like during beret, is actually to rely on others more, and also to ask for help. Because like either you can do the task yourself, and it will take you so much time, and it will be so exhausting. You'll have to look it up. You have to go maybe down a rabbit hole to actually find the things you need to know about it. Or you just ask a friend of yours.
Who's probably more than happy to help you, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it might be so much easier. And yeah, I think that's also a thing I've learned. And therefore asking questions is just getting easier for me, because I'm not longer on the internet trying to get to facts, which will answer my questions, but I'm just going up to the people and asking them directly. And it's just making my life easier and building up human connection. And yeah, I'm just really grateful for that as well.
It's also really good professional training because, in the working world, we're working with other human beings and relying on other human beings too. There's one other thing I wanted to draw your attention to. It's hard for me to convey how wonderful the feeling is hearing you reflect about how you've approached the communication challenge, the challenges that you faced. Because listening to you share, it's like it seems to come so naturally to you and be so obvious to you that the approach to take, or a helpful approach to take, is to understand myself, start with that, see how my understanding of myself, or look at my behaviors, and with some form of kind of objectivity and self-awareness, how are my behaviors being effective or not being effective? And then how can I adjust what I'm doing in such a way that I can be more effective and ultimately happier too? And like I say, hearing you share about it in this way, that's just like, oh, of course, that's just how life is, and that's how it's so beautiful, because to me that is the hope for our species. That is like that approach. That's what we need. It's not that common. It's really not. At least in my I've been around the world. I'm about 3 times your age, right? So three of your lifetimes I've spent in this world encountering other human beings and other situations. And yes, there are plenty of people who do take this approach. And then there's also so many who don't. And it's just heartening and encouraging and inspiring to hear, like, this is just who you are. This is just how you approach life and relationships with others. And I just wanted to share that with you. And also just to make sure that you are able to identify that in yourself as a great strength as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much. But it is hard. It's like seeing that you made a mistake and also being disappointed is hard for me. So it's also hard for me to actually go into the situations where I know I could be disappointed. So it's kind of a step out of my comfort zone.
Yeah, right. And that is such a huge part of it as well. And I really appreciate you mentioning the difficulty as well, because I think in many cases, that's the end of the conversation for people. It's like, or maybe the conversation doesn't even start because we're afraid. Yeah. So how do we handle adversity? How do we handle difficult experiences and different challenges is a big part of this as well. Something inside of you is telling you and motivating you and connecting you with something that's bigger, so that the difficulty just is not going to be something that stops you. And you keep going. And then also reap the rewards of continuing to go.
Yeah. And it's really nice in the end to look back and be like, I've done it and it turned out amazing. So next time I'm going to tackle like the next situation, the next level.
And every time you do that, you provide evidence for yourself that it's worth the struggle as well.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, for me, this shows up in my daily life, in my running. There's so many days where I'm just like, I'm tired. I don't want to go for my run. I just want to sit on the couch and, binge Netflix or whatever. Right. And then it's in those moments that it's hardest to connect to the positive outcome of actually going and doing the hard thing. But when I'm able to do it, it's like, oh, of course, dude, you've been through this a million times. You know that the good feelings that come from doing the hard thing last. Those good feelings last, right? And that it's worth doing it. So here's to perseverance and courage in the face of daunting challenges and persevering. So thank you for inspiring me and our listeners, I hope. We're almost out of time. Is there anything else that you would like to share with our listeners before we say goodbye?
So I would have something which I would like to share with you. It's actually also about running. And it's also, again, about the people around me and how they actually achieve to motivate me and how they achieve to get me to go into these situations. Because exactly what you've described in the beginning, I had it a couple of weeks ago when I and a friend of mine wanted to go to a 10 kilometers run together. And I was like, oh, do we really have to go? I have so much work to do. And then before that, I talked to some friends from university and I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this run on Saturday. And then one of my friends from university actually texted me and was like, have such a good and great run on Saturday. I was like, okay, no, I do have to go now. So, okay, I can do my work later on. And then I went to the run with a friend of mine and it was just so much fun. And I was running and I was so much out of breath. And I was like, yeah, really, it was really exhausting for me. And then a man came and he just ran next to me and he started talking to me and having a conversation. And I was like, oh, how can he talk in such an easy way with me while I was out of breath all the time? And he was motivating me again. I didn't know him at all, but he was like, yeah, you can do it. You have the potential. Just keep going. And yeah, just go on. And it was just such an amazing experience for me. And it was like, okay, I'll go on. In the end, he finished without me because I was too much out of breath. But it was still, yeah, I really achieved my goals on that day. And it was an amazing experience.
What an act of generosity on his part.
Yeah.
How did it feel crossing the finish line?
Amazing. It felt so good. And I was like really fast. I would never thought I would have been so fast in the end. Like comparing to myself, I was really fast, but I was really proud on myself on that day and really happy. And really happy that I went out and did it.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that story. Okay, Malena, so thank you for carving time out of your day, your evening. I know you have so many things that you could be doing as a college student right now, along with your taekwondo and all of that.
No. Yeah,
really
I really enjoyed
conversation.
reflecting.
Sorry, what did you say, Malena?
I really enjoyed reflecting about like beret again and the experiences. So thank you so much.
You're so welcome. It's my pleasure. And maybe we can check in again in a few months.
I would love to.
I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Malena. If you did, please tell at least one friend about it. Give us a 5-star rating and follow the podcast. That will help others find us. Until next time, let's keep our heads clear and our hearts open.